Creating a campaign inside of Podscribe is super, super easy, and we'll walk through the steps in this video. So first thing you're gonna wanna do is go to the Campaigns tab and make sure you're under the sub-tab by Campaigns. Now, creating a campaign, for instance, these are the campaigns that have currently been ingested, is super, super easy. There's a couple different ways to do it, but the easiest way is creating it directly in the dashboard. So what you're gonna wanna do is come to the Create Campaign button right over on the right-hand side. You click this and it's gonna walk you through a set of steps to create that campaign inside of Podscribe and ask you for a set of criteria that will be used both for impression and conversion tracking, as well as these verification and issue flags that will be alerted and flagged in case anything in the ad wasn't ran as it was supposed to. So once you're in the Create Campaign pop-up, the first thing you're gonna wanna do is specify who this campaign is promoting. You can hover over this little eye if you wanna see more details about that. But basically, is the campaign for a brand or an advertiser? Is it a podcast promotion, a smart promo? You're promoting a podcast, one of your podcasts on another podcast, and there's a couple other criteria as well. So for this instance, we will start with a brand. So you're going to want to click into the brand to promote section and type in that brand. We'll just do a test here. We'll do Hollow, for instance. If you don't see your advertiser or the brand in here, that's totally fine. You can create, it will give you an option for that, but we have the majority of the advertisers and all you'll have to do is find yours. Next up, you're gonna wanna specify what media type this ad is going to be running. Is it a podcast ad, a YouTube ad, simulcast ad, which is both YouTube and podcast streaming, or SAI? For this case, let's do a simulcast ad. You can also tag any team members that you want to be associated with this campaign, and you can drop them down here, drop this section down here, and you'll see there's names. And you can also tag this campaign with a tag, which is basically a unique identifier that you can use to better filter for campaigns. So some examples of this are annual deals. Maybe it's you're buying on an annual show and you want to tag it with annual. If there's a specific theme of this campaign, maybe there's a sale or a holiday, all of those sorts of things. You can create any tag that you want. They'll be appended to that campaign, and then it will allow you to better and easily search for them if they have some unique identifier you want to have the campaign be associated with it. Once you've entered all of this information, you can click next. And next up, it's gonna ask you different specs about the actual ad. So is this ad going to be running on one show, or is it going to be running across a variety of networks? So a run of network campaign. We'll click on running on one show for this case. Next, you're gonna wanna specify which show this ad is gonna be promoted on. Again, enter in the show name. Let's do H3, for instance, the H3 podcast. If you don't see the show as you're searching for it, you can always go and grab the iTunes or add the YouTube/channel playlist URL for specifically YouTube ads. To find the iTunes ID, we'll have another video for that. You can see that below, but it's pretty easy. You search Apple Podcast and the podcast name, and then it's the string of numbers appended at the end of that show's URL. Next, you're gonna wanna specify the publisher. We know this publisher is Rooster Teeth, so we will select that. And then you get to name the campaign. Again, if you have any questions about how you should name it, just hover over here and you'll see any details that you should know about naming it. We'll do, let's see, H3 simulcast campaign, and maybe this is an annual deal. Next, we need to specify the buy type. Is this an episodic campaign, or is this a DAI impression-based campaign? We'll do episodic for this case, and then you'll specify the geo. Is this supposed to reach global? Is it supposed to only reach people in the United States or any other country? Specify that. Again, this is going to be fed into the verification side of our platform. So if we find impressions, let's say it was supposed to be a US specific campaign, and we see impressions that are hitting the UK or Australia, for instance, we'll flag that for you. It's not going to affect any of the tracking. Now you're going to want to tell us what the expected dates of this campaign are going to be. So what is the expected publish date? Let's say we know it's going to go live on May 6th. If we know that because this is an annual campaign, it's going to be running every month, we can also add other flights. You just click this add flight button. It will automatically basically segment the date by a week, but you can go and change that. Let's say it's every month and the next ad is gonna run on June 6th and so on and so forth. Then you're gonna wanna enter in the cost of that campaign. So what the total cost the advertiser is paying, we'll do $1,000 for instance, and then the expected impressions. So let's say we know they're gonna hit 1,000 impressions. Again, these two things are going to help not only quantify the eCPM as those impressions are being delivered, but also make sure that all of the impressions that were expected to be delivered were delivered on time. We'll do 1,000 again. 1,000 impressions and another 1,000 for these other flights. Great. Now we'll click next. This is where you're going to specify the different placement or copy aspects of the ad. So for instance, what is the placement of the ad? Pre-roll, mid-roll, post-roll. We'll do mid-roll for this example. And then what is the ad length? 15, 30, 60, etc. We'll do 30. We can add multiple units if we know that there's a pre-roll that's going to run, for instance, and it's a 60-second ad. All is great there. Then you're going to want to tell us what the promo code that is going to be in the ad is supposed to be, or the URL. So let's say the promo code for this ad is going to be H3. If we also wanted to specify a URL, we can click on that button, drop in the URL. So we'll do testbrand.com/ let's say the URL is H3. These two things, again, won't affect tracking, but will be used for our verification. So we'll make sure if you tell us the ad creative and the host was supposed to say H3 with this URL, we'll make sure that that is what's included in the transcript and the air checked. And if it's not, then we will flag those as bad promo or bad URL for you. If you have any expected talking points that the host or the ad is supposed to contain, for instance, free shipping or, get 20% off, you can specify those, separate them by a comma. And again, we will flag in the verification section of Podscribe any issues if we do not find these two talking points being mentioned in the ad creative. If you have any do not say words, so for instance, a lot of finance apps, the host can't mention the word bank, or if you're a lottery app or a gaming app, maybe you can't mention the word gambling, you can add those here as well. Again, insurance companies, health and wellness companies, sometimes they will have a set amount of things that they know the host cannot say from a legal perspective, so feel free to enter in those. We'll put bank and gambling, for instance, here. So the ad will be flagged with a do not say flag if Podscribe finds that any of the ad creatives in this campaign contain these words. Then you'll click next, and here will be the overview of the campaign you have just created. Make sure to run through it, make sure everything's correct, and then all you're going to want to do is click create campaign, and that campaign will be created. Now you'll notice that that campaign is not right here. Because this is an upcoming campaign, you're gonna wanna make sure that the date range that you're looking at is for upcoming campaigns. You can either select the upcoming date range or click upcoming only right here. That's going to show you a list of campaigns that we have created that are up and coming. Because we created this under the advertiser Hallow, it's not going to show up right now, but you would then see the campaign populated here. Again, this was an example of a test campaign that we have just created to walk you through how campaigns can be easily created in Podscribe. So reach out to your customer service rep if you have any questions, but pretty easy and straightforward.